The Cold War gave birth to some of the most legendary aircraft in history, and among them, one still flies today, 70 years after its first mission, the U-2 Dragon Lady. A spy plane so secret, so capable, and so ahead of its time that even in the age of satellites and drones, it continues to serve as America's old reliable eye in the sky. In this video, we'll uncover the story of the U-2, its dramatic beginnings in the Cold War, its role in near-nuclear confrontations, its unique design and technical challenges, and why, even today, it refuses to retire. The U-2 story begins in the early 1950s. The United States needed a way to see deep inside the Soviet Union to track its growing nuclear arsenal. Satellites didn't exist yet, so in 1954, President Dwight Eisenhower approved Project Aquatone, a top-secret program led by Lockheed Martin's legendary engineer Clarence Kelly Johnson. Johnson and his Skunk Works team designed a jet unlike anything else, a long, slender, high-altitude aircraft capable of flying above 70,000 feet, nearly 21 kilometers up, far beyond the reach of Soviet fighters and missiles of the time. On August 1, 1955, the U-2 made its first flight at a then unknown site that would later be called Area 51. And with that, a new era of espionage had begun. But the skies above the Soviet Union were never completely safe. On May 1, 1960, a CIA pilot named Francis Gary Powers was flying a U-2 mission over Soviet territory when his U-2 was struck by an S-75 surface-to-air missile. Powers survived and was captured. Washington at first denied the mission, but Moscow presented both the wreckage and the pilot. The incident exposed America's spy program to the world, ended a planned peace summit, and became one of the most dramatic moments of the Cold War. From then on, direct overflights of Soviet territory were suspended. Just 2 years later, in October 1962, the U-2 would once again change history. Flying over Cuba, a U-2 mission captured photographs revealing Soviet nuclear missile sites on the island. The discovery triggered the Cuban Missile Crisis, 13 tense days where the world stood on the brink of nuclear war. Without the U-2's intelligence, Washington might not have discovered the threat in time. In many ways, it was the Dragon Lady that helped prevent a catastrophe. So, what makes the U-2 so special? The U-2 is a single-engine, high-wing aircraft with a wingspan of 103 feet, about 31 meters. It was designed to fly in the thin atmosphere at extreme altitudes, where most aircraft simply cannot operate. Early models used Pratt & Whitney engines, but modern U-2S variants now fly with the General Electric F-118 turbofan, the same engine that powers the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. Landing the U-2 is notoriously difficult. With its bicycle-style landing gear and long, glider-like wings, the pilot has almost no forward visibility. Chase cars, often driven at over 100 miles per hour, guide the aircraft down the runway. And because the U-2 operates above 70,000 feet, pilots wear full pressure suits, similar to astronaut gear, to survive in near-space conditions. But what truly makes the Dragon Lady formidable are its sensors. From high-resolution cameras in the 1950s to today's advanced SIGINT packages, synthetic aperture radar, and multispectral imaging, the U-2 has evolved continuously. In the 21st century, it has been upgraded with fiber optics, onboard AI processing, and real-time data links, turning it into a flying intelligence hub. One question often asked is, if we have satellites, why keep the U-2? The answer is flexibility. Satellites follow predictable orbits and cannot simply hover over a target. The U-2, on the other hand, can take off on short notice, adjust its path mid-flight, and deliver intelligence in real time, including signals interception that satellites cannot easily capture. It can also see through clouds, capture precise imagery, and loiter over areas for extended periods. This makes it invaluable in dynamic conflict zones, from Iraq and Afghanistan to monitoring North Korea and beyond. Though the U.S. Air Force has suggested retiring it by 2026, many in Congress argue that the U-2 remains unmatched. Drones like the RQ-4 Global Hawk are capable, but lack the same mix of altitude, payload, and adaptability. For now, the Dragon Lady keeps flying, a living Cold War relic that remains one of the most advanced tools of modern intelligence. From its secret flights over the Soviet Union, to nearly starting World War III in Cuba, to still soaring above conflict zones today, the U-2 Dragon Lady is more than just a spy plane. It is a symbol of persistence, adaptation, and the power of innovation. 70 years after its first flight, it continues to watch the skies, proving that sometimes the oldest aircraft can still be the most irreplaceable. If you enjoyed this video about the legendary U-2, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to Military Power TV, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video on the world's most fascinating military technology.
Here it goes!
Welcome back to React. Thanks, Ben. Great to be here. And great to see the unit flying again. But let's talk about another unique thing you're never going to see in another air show is a gear up pass. This there, I believe, is the senior span pod, isn't it? On this correct. That's used larger than the super pods, the wing. That's right, super pods on the wings. What about the nose configuration of this one? I know they carry different examples of that as well. They're simulating that the engine has failed and a loss of hydraulics, which aids in drag of the airplane. Now, while the aircraft is in mission fit for this demonstration, I'm expecting that the pilot is not in mission fit himself in terms of what he's wearing in the cockpit. So, because the pilot isn't going to be going above Armstrong's line today, he will not be in, as we call it, a space suit, but he will be in just a classic flight suit. He's going to look like every other pilot, unfortunately for him. So the profile that you're seeing now is what the U-2 would be doing if it had an actual flame out. The drag that you're seeing is simulating the drag of the loss of thrust. So really the U-2 is a glider with an engine, and which is why it would be able to glide from that current position all the way back to the runway. This absolutely incredible design, conceived, as I say, in the 1950s by Clarence Kelly Johnson, the making those calls tells the pilot a lot as to how he needs to react. And he's more than just a radar altimeter. You can tell the pilot more left rudder, less left rudder. And there we can see the car entering the runway. And can get you through some real sticky situations with bad weather and things that can really jeopardize any flying operation. So touching down now after an incredibly rare demonstration, the Lockheed U-2S of the 99th Expeditionary Reconnaissance Squadron, U.S. Air Force. 2, 1. And I think we'd all agree, long may these aircraft stay here, Popeye. Long may the Dragon Lady reign. An aircraft that has outlived so many of Kelly Johnson's other creations for the Lockheed Skunk Works. And justifiably so, such is the capability it continues to provide. As the aircraft rolls past here, what's the tail arc we can see on it? The tail arc you're seeing is the 99th Expeditionary Reconnaissance Squadron's Friday Punch. It's a dragon with a top hat sipping a cup of tea. Very